What's going on, everybody? This is Snowman. Welcome to a very special Donkey Kong Month edition of the snoCast, the second best podcast you could listen to right behind a Banana Slamma on a DKC2 Sunday. I'm joined today by two very special guests, SteveOHobo, aka SteveOHobo, and Lee, aka Furst or Furst.
Don't use my slave name.
Emphasis on Te.
Your slave name. Well, I just watched that thing where you're like, first was taken, so...
Yeah, it's literally the only reason why I put the Te. Not like, okay, first was taken. The first was taken, so I was like,
Yeah.
Te
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
We all have those names that just were embarrassed of from back in the day.
Also, but before we get started, Steve, what's up with the Ronzo?
Furry civil rights now. Just repping my boy Kamari Ronso.
Kamari Ronso.
That's it, man. I just like Kamari.
Okay,
He's underrepresented.
Okay,
We need more Ronso representation.
Kamari, my favorite Donkey Kong character.
Kamari for Smash.
Oh gosh. For those that aren't in on the DKC2 Sunday meme, because I've done that a few times, these two are the founders of the meme. I actually don't even know if Lee knows about this, but
yeah, Lee doesn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just gonna let that one slide.
Quick rundown. Lee and I released Donkey Kong Country videos on the same day, and Lee put out his thumbnail on Twitter, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't want to release it the same day as him, and so I messaged you, and I was like, hey man, like I did a DKC2 video, like, since you're putting yours out tomorrow, like, I think I might just put mine out next week. And you're like, nah, man, just put it out. I was like, oh, sweet. So, double the DKC2 on Sunday.
Yeah, it just became like
great.
a national holiday. Like,
yeah, now we
that
every
DKC2
Sunday is DKC2 Sunday. So now you know the meme.
Yep,
I didn't even know I co-founded a national holiday.
Exactly. You're a co-founder and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know my two very special guests, well, first off, SteveOHobo was my very first guest ever on snoCast, so he's got history with the channel. But why don't we begin with our brand new guest who's never been on before, Lee? Why don't you tell us about the millions and millions of things that you do on YouTube so we can check you out?
Okay. So if you want to just check out my channel, it's youtube.com/tefirst. I do asinine bullshit there. If you want actual real content, go to youtube.com/boku no eruption. We tried to get Arcadia, and YouTube was like, nah. So we're just going with that.
Well, Arcadia.co works too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Arcadia.co. Like, in Arcadia spelled with an E, so ARCADEA.co. It's a collaboration
if Arcadia
channel
is taken on YouTube, just do Te Arcadia, and it should work.
And just twisting that knife. It's a collaboration channel between me and Eruption, and Strex and Scribble Scrabble will eventually release a thing. They promise. They're both in school, so it's like timing and shit. Like it makes sense. Can I curse in this podcast?
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
Okay, I was okay. Good.
I used to be more like, oh, stop, and actually, it's funny because I would always used to bleep them with DKC sound effects. So it'd be perfect for this
ton
cast,
of work.
But now I don't care. Yeah, it is. It's too much work.
There you go.
All right, cool. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Well, you also do stuff on Game Theory too. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, I help out with I just forget about that.
That's why I said tell us the millions and millions of things.
I help write game theory and film theory. They're okay. And the amazing breakdown retrospectives on youtube.com/MatthewPatrick13. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Check them out.
They're my favorites on Game Theory.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Absolutely
be honest. That's all I've been watching on Game Theory now. So,
speaking of, I may or may not be in the process of writing a Donkey Kong Country script for that. So.
Ooh,
there you go,
baby. Oh,
I don't think it's gonna be the next one, but it'll be soon.
Yeah.
If
Just
only it
spread the
had been
DK
time
love
for
year
Donkey
round.
Kong month, man.
Yeah.
If only.
You're really fricked
Yeah.
up, Lee.
That's okay. Just save it for DKC2 Sunday, and it'll be
Yeah.
good to go.
You just gotta put it out on Sunday.
What about Beard Boys? Lee, are you still in Beard Boys?
Yeah, we're taking that as like. First of all, I think I've been in literally one of the episodes.
That's kind of what I
Boys.
was like. You're there, but yeah.
Yeah, Beard Boys is like an LP thing that my buddy Zach started, and it's fun. It's a whole bunch of the Beard Bros community people, the TOVG community people. We were just like, it'd be fun to play games and stuff. That'd be fun. We're taking it slow right now just because real life getting in the way. But
sure.
yeah, that's still a thing. I don't think we have a URL for that though. Just look up Beard Boys with an I. Probably find
And
it.
it's also a bit more like a bit with streaming, right? Like kind of lean towards streaming sometimes and all that. It's good stuff.
They stream every Saturday on That One Video Gamer on Twitch. So and I pop in there every now and then. It's fun. It's a good time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, Lee, taking up all the time.
There we go. All right, yeah. All right. Thanks for listening to the Donkey Kong Country Month podcast.
We're done. Yeah. SteveOHobo, tell us about what you do on YouTube.
Yeah. youtube.com/SteveOHobo. My channel's kind of all over the place. I used to make like some speculatory stuff, but that's kind of on hiatus. So right now I'm just doing like personal retrospective type shit. Just put out a video recently on Firewatch, and I'm eager to start working on something else soon, but I haven't started yet. Also, I have a podcast with the lovely Game Boys featuring myself, Peridactyl, Rasputin, and Heavy Eyed, which is pretty fun. We haven't done one of those in a while. We're going to try to get back to it soon, but it's all good stuff. Check us out.
Keep those ears open for a Game Boys return.
Yeah. Yeah,
Excellent.
return, and then we don't upload anything for the next 2 months after that.
Right.
That's usually what happens.
Is
then it
Donkey
can-
Kong Country unpopular enough for Mitch to like?
I don't know. I don't remember his thoughts on Donkey Kong, to be honest.
I don't either, but he does tend to hate things. If more than 6 people like it.
But he likes Super Mario Bros. 3 more than Mario World, so he's a nerd.
He would. It's because he's so old. Anyway.
Yeah.
So our topic today, I'm very excited because I have specifically handpicked these two very special gentlemen to talk about Donkey Kong, partly because of the DKC2 Sundays, but more just they're huge fans of the series, just as I am, and I knew they would help celebrate the Donkey Kong Month hype with me, so I wanted to talk about it with them today. And I thought maybe a good place to start would be just to discuss our experience with Donkey Kong. How did we get into Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
You know, what was your first foray in the DK world?
You want me to go first?
Whoever wants.
Steve, go first. I volunteer Steve.
Alrighty. So I started with the first game way after it had come out because I was born in '96, which was when the N64 came out. So it was way past its prime. But I really love that game. I never beat it as a kid. And, for a while, when I was playing that game as a kid, I didn't even know there were sequels to it. So I just played the first one, like, unknowingly. And I talk about it in my video, but, like, I figured out there were sequels, like, maybe, I don't know, like, 6, or, like, when I was, like, 12 or 13. I started playing them on like an emulator, and I was like, "This is so weird. Like, I don't know if I like this." And so I kind of just tried him out and didn't really care for him too much. And then I came back to him recently, and I was like, "Man, Donkey Kong Country 2 is a really good game.
It's great.
It's pretty great." And yeah, I've also played Returns and Tropical Freeze, both amazing 2D platformers.
Yeah.
But that's how I started.
What about you, Lee?
Donkey Kong Country 1 is actually my first memory with a video game. It was just like one of the like spatterings of game that I had as a kid. You know how it is. It's like, I just came into possession of this game somehow.
Yeah. It's just put in front of you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, exactly. And Country 1 and 2 were a lot of fun. A lot of fond memories playing those. I never owned 3, but the kid across the street, who I didn't like, and you can tell I didn't like him because I only remember his last name. He had Donkey Kong Country 3, so that kind of like... I think I have negative feelings about that game simply because of Crane. God, Crane.
Just associated with that.
Yeah.
Call out.
But yeah, I played the shit out of 1 and 2. I love those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried playing Returns when it like came out, and I had like, it's weird, I had like muscle memory from 1 and 2 so much, and Returns is different enough
it's very
that
different.
I can't play it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my muscle memory will not allow me to play that game very well.
Is it like...
And I refuse to change because it's the children who are wrong.
Is it just because of like the control scheme, or is it just like you're so used to like the level design of the first few?
It's definitely how the Kongs control. It's so minutely different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the waggle
like the way,
stuff.
just the way they move. Yeah, and the waggle. Even I played Tropical Freeze as well, and same thing.
Oh, wow.
Like, just so slightly different.
You know, it is different. Tropical Freeze is different too, because you can change the control scheme in it. Like, there's the different setups in Tropical Freeze, but sometimes they want you to do the trigger to roll instead of like, you know, the what would be like the Y button or something. I know what you're saying. It is different, but
I love that those games exist though. Like, I'm down.
I still enjoyed them.
I love Cranky as Scrooge McDuck in that. That's great.
Oh yeah. Very
good
cool.
addition.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that about the what?
I was gonna say, what about you, Snow? How did you get into Donkey Kong?
As you guys mentioned, definitely grew up with it. I did have all 3 on the SNES. I have very deep memories of playing it with my dad. Like, really, really strong connections of me and my dad playing Donkey Kong, especially the first one. But I loved the second one. And then the third one, as a kid, I actually like really loved 3. A lot of people are like, oh, it's the worst, you know, of the trilogy. It's not nearly as good. It's way different. But as a kid, I was like, this is amazing. Like, it was the perfect like third installment for me. I felt like they took things to new places in the right ways. It was also, I think, the first game I had a strategy guide for. So I used that strategy guide all the time to like get 103% in DKC3, and it was good stuff.
Dang, son.
But yeah, nice. So very deep-rooted memories of playing that game. But what I was going to say, Lee, because you were talking about the controls and returns.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
and
interrupted.
my dad, when I got returns, and I was like, Dad, you got to try it. It's so great. It's just like, you know, the old games. And so he tries playing returns, and he figures out, that you shake the Wiimote to like ground pound. And so he goes like just in front of this like bird enemy coming towards him, and he just like shakes the Wiimote. Like, his fingers aren't even on the buttons anymore. He's just shaking the Wiimote, just ground pounding. And I'm like, okay, yeah, now you like jump on him, Dad. Now you gotta like, you know, go past him. But he just kept shaking, and that's like all he wanted to do. He's like, yeah, look at him. I got him all stunned there with my ground pound. Like, that's all he cared about. And I was like, that's not how you play the game, Dad. So he didn't get it either with the new controls. But I loved the new ones too. I really enjoyed Returns. It did take getting used to with the controls, but I liked it. Tropical Freeze is one of my favorites on the Wii U. Dude. Phenomenal. So,
awesome game.
Real good stuff.
As far as the controls go in Returns, like, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually really like having the waggle. Mostly because when I play that game, I use the Wii remote and the nunchuck. Like, it just feels really natural, like, moving them both at the same time. Because it feels like you're, like, playing the fucking DK bongos, dude. Like, it feels right for a Donkey Kong game. Like, it's kind of silly that, like, you have to waggle it to roll. But, like, I feel like they made a decent choice with that.
If it wasn't like, I'm against motion controls because I feel like they're inaccurate. Mm-hmm. That's like literally the only reason.
Yeah, they definitely can be.
That's all. They're fine.
It's just no. You're totally right. You're totally right though. It's like motion controls definitely leave room for a lot of inaccuracy, and like it may feel good like, that sounds so weird of me saying like it feels good to bang the remote,
waggle my Wiimote.
Like, to waggle my Wiimote. Yeah, it feels natural, but like definitely doesn't have like the accuracy or the feedback of a button press for sure. Which is why I think a lot of people prefer Tropical Freeze.
It's a game of the times, because that was just what was big at that time. I'm glad that they opted to a different control scheme in Tropical Freeze. Because it was a bit more than, because you do it to roll, you do it to ground pound, and if you hold down and shake, you like blow flowers and stuff.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing. Like,
and you like had to do that sometimes to beat levels. It's just interesting. Yeah. So
that's such a weird mechanic for Donkey
also
Kong
with the like the waggle stuff. Also, imagine if you're like on the couch and you just reposition a little bit, and oh no, you shook the Wiimote a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That happened to me a few times, I think.
That's not great.
Well, the next question, and this is a very important question, is which is your favorite? If you had to pick a favorite of all the Donkey Kong games. And you know what? I'm going to open it up. I'm not just going to say regular country games, any Donkey Kong game. Anyone
Donkey
out
Kong
there.
Country 2.
There you go. The definitive answer.
I was going to say, like, think about it. It's very important. But no,
Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah, I agree. There's
it's objectively the best Donkey Kong game. Yeah.
Well, that was a really short question because I would say Donkey Kong Country 2. So
okay, there you go.
Well, let's talk about why it's so good.
Yeah, exactly. And why, yeah.
So Donkey Kong Country 1 had, like, that game was made in, like, kind of a crunch. It was like the first game that Rare kind of, like, did it on their own. Like, the team was completely kind of, like, isolated.
Yeah.
And there was also kind of, like, a time constraint on it. So there are, like, problems with it, obviously. No game is perfect. And with 2, they took what they had built, and they no longer had the rush to like completely make a game right. So I feel like they took what they built and refined it to a point where it was all about the level design and how the game traveled through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had that like skeletal base. I guess it's kind of like the Majora's Mask effect, how they were like able to shit that one out so fast and have it be so good because they didn't have to worry about like making the engine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just
a lot of similar
assets.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the atmosphere of that, and I'm hitting on all of the fucking industry terms right now, but I really do. I like the atmosphere of 2 just because it's weirdly dark, but in like a kind of lighthearted way.
Oh,
it's totally. Like, oh, we're going through like this fucking evil ass swamp right now. Mm-hmm. And like, but there's Sonic the Hedgehog as an enemy, and
like, what's up with that?
I literally, right when you said that, I was like, and the really goofy like hedgehog thing, and that's exactly you said the exact same thing.
Yeah,
it is
good stuff.
Real good atmosphere.
Yeah, I definitely think the level design's just much more solid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, like, parrot my video too much, but, like, it just... What the theming kind of opens them up to all this weird stuff. And, like, even more so in the third game, they went crazy. But, like, I feel like 2 struck a really nice balance between, like, introducing new mechanics that are interesting and you'll see later on. And, like... They struck a balance between that and, like, being too gimmicky, like I think 3 tends to be. But I haven't really played... I've never finished all the way through 3 because I just got kind of bored with it. That's the one out of the series that I haven't finished. So, like, I don't know for sure how much I like that. Like, I need to beat it first to really give a fair assessment of it. But, like, 2, I don't know if it's ever gotten better. Although I would say, like, Tropical Freeze comes really close to topping that. Even though I've only beaten it once, whereas with 2, I've beaten, like, 30 times.
Yeah.
Dang.
3 was really like cartoony and really bright and very vivid and just like all the enemy designs were goofy. Where like some in DKC2 were goofy. Like all of them are goofy. I mean, I was just doing this banana challenge thing the other day. I'm playing through DKC3 hard mode, and I eat a banana every 5 deaths, and
which is amazing.
it's been interesting. But basically, like, I'm just realizing how much every single enemy in that game is so goofy, and even the ones that are supposed to be menacing. So like, there's these little tiny runt Kremlings that have a massive bazooka, and they shoot barrels out of the bazooka. And it's like, oh, dang, it's like in this industrial level, and it's like, whoa, they're like,
yeah, dude.
But they're so goofy. They're just like these little guys.
I remember, because we were talking about that in the stream chat, and I was like, those guys remind me of the first boss from DK64, the Armadillo guy with the cannons.
Yeah.
It looks like they ripped the, like, design for, like, Armadillo, like, right out of that game. It's so weird, because I don't think I'd gotten that far in DKC3 to see those enemies. I was like, whoa, like, this is where they got the inspiration for that from. It's really cool. But it is so silly. Be surprised.
Yeah, very silly. And like the little owls shooting fireballs, and it's like,
oh yeah,
it's like, whoa, fireballs, but like, look at those owls. I'm not scared at all.
Whoa, fireballs. Whoa.
Too crazy,
that's
man.
All kids do that. Whoa.
Well, Perry made a good point in that stream, because when I said earlier I really liked 3 as a kid, but like I think it's a lot more geared toward kids. 3's just got a very childhood atmosphere to it, so maybe that really drew me in as part of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought about that. I always it just like looks super goofy, especially in the beginning, just like the starting area. It's really like 2 is very foreign to 1, but like it makes a ton of sense because you're like in the Kremlin world or whatever. Yeah. And then 3, it just feels like foreign for the sake of being weird, if that makes any sense. Like it doesn't feel like there's a real reason.
All 3 are very different.
I think I just kind of pinpointed why I prefer the look of 2 even over 1 and 3, and even over 1. Like 2 had like an actual general theme. Pretty much everything was pirate themed, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas like 3, or I guess 1 is kind of like jungle themed. I guess doesn't really have a theme other than just like, oh, we're animals. And I can't pinpoint any theming for 3 other than like it's cutesy animal.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
all over the place.
It is. It's very all over the place. Because you could even argue that DKC2 gets a little bit weird, like with a carnival, and like
that was it was a pirate themed carnival though.
That's true. That's true. It's a good point. But yeah, 3 is like very all, because I think there's something to be said about DKC2 starting on a pirate ship and then you ending with K. Rool dressed as a pirate. Like there seems to be that cohesiveness all the way through. And 3, he's like a mad scientist. Like where did that come from? Like there's nothing.
You know what's really weird about that? So I've thought about this a lot, and I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess the only reason I can think of why they did it is like they started at the pirate ship, and they finished with K. Rool as a pirate, whatever. And the first game ends on the pirate ship. And, like, it's weird because, like, you're on a pirate ship, but K. Rool's just K. Rool, and he feels more fit for, like, a castle or whatever. Yeah. And then in 2, when you're fighting K. Rool, he's a pirate, but he's in this, like, kind of, like, wizard's tower, mad
he's
scientist
in the airship
place. Yeah. And it's, like, before you get up to the airship, you're, like, in that tower, too. But, like, even then, the airship, like, I know the final boss of 3, he's, like, this mad scientist dude. So it's like they kind of like mismatched the way the bosses should be, because it feels like Captain K. Rool, the pirate, should be the boss of the first game, and then like the mad scientist should be the boss of the second game. Just how the level is structured. Like it's something that's like I I feel like if I could ask the devs a question, I'd be like, why did you decide to do that? Because it would be really funny if they were just like, you know what, we kind of just did this and like we realized that it was stupid, so we're just gonna keep this like really weird theme of like having the final boss pertain more to the game previous
to the next game.
The game
actually, the game we haven't even made yet. You know, I
bet it's so,
like Rare would have probably like actually done that though.
It's such a.
If you ever heard like Grant Kirkhope or the Stampers talk about like that atmosphere of the offices back then, it really was just like, oh, whatever. Let's just like, it's fine.
Yeah, dude. I remember
feels like they do whatever they want sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like I used to not really be into much of like the history behind the development, but like I remember listening to Grant be on the Game Grumps that first time, and you got a feel for his mannerisms, and I was like, whoa, dude, like this guy has like zero chill and is just like having a great time. Like that's so weird, because like when I think of a game dev, like you can't put a like picture to a name like you can like with a TV show or a movie or something like that. So I always would just have this idea of like very professional, like really into their work sort of deal. Whereas like a lot of the times the complete opposite, just like fucking no chill mode going crazy on Game Grumps. Like it's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It is. It's kind of weird to think about that, like where they were going with some of the stuff. But for some reason it worked. I don't know.
It's got a really, I think, with 2 specifically, just the way they transitioned from like 1 being like really grabbing for that realism. Like they obviously used the graphics engine that they had in mind to kind of up the ante and like show how real it could look at the time. And then with 2, it seems like they kind of realized, like, you know what, it doesn't really, like, portray that. Like, I mean, in hindsight, it doesn't. Like, you can't know that at the time. Everything that's coming out looks great at the time. But then it feels like they kind of knew that, and then they just went crazy with it. And I feel like that's why 2 has, like, this certain layer of charm that, like, 1 doesn't necessarily have. Like, 1 is still very charming, but 2 is charming to me in a very different way, which is why I think I've latched onto it more. Yeah, dude, they really did. It's so, oh my god, I love Donkey Kong, you guys.
That's really what this cast really is, just a gush fest of why we love Donkey Kong.
Look, man, this is therapeutic. All my friends are like, Steven, Donkey Kong sucks. Like, play Mario, play a good game. I'm like, dude, shut up. Donkey Kong's awesome.
No. Yeah.
You just don't get it, man.
Well, yeah.
It's okay. They like Mario, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah. Shots fired.
Mario sucks.
We touched on it a little bit just in the talking about why we liked those games, but I thought this would be an interesting question of what is, and just of the trilogy as a whole, the series as a whole, what's your favorite aspect about the games? I mean, I know we talked a little bit of, about atmosphere or different parts, but is there a specific part or aspect of the series that you love most? Or I'm not sure if there's a better way to phrase it.
Okay, it's interesting because if you look at like my favorite games, the games I fucking love that I've played the shit out of, it is stuff like Dishonored and Skyrim and Deus Ex and Mass Effect, like these super intensive like single player, mostly science fiction or fantasy. It's like a whole universe thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Donkey Kong, which is like, oh, that's completely different. And I think it's because it's just such, at least in 2, when they refined it, it is such purely concocted game, like perfect gameplay.
Yeah.
That I'm down. I like it a lot.
Yeah, the gameplay is a big part of it.
Just how it feels to control. Dixie's actually was my favorite playable character. She was floaty enough and also had the flying thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just felt good to play. So
yeah,
that's
it's
what
like,
it was. Like, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, in 1 you had to deal with Donkey Kong compared to Diddy, inferior, and in 3 same deal, you had to deal with Diddy, whereas Dixie was superior. So like 2 is also great because you get the best of both worlds there.
Yep.
You get like the really fast, tight control character, and then you get like Dixie, who's still fast but slower and like more for beginners because you got that like safety net with the hair twirl.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, a little easier with Dixie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think like DKC2 had both of those characters are good. Like,
yeah,
it's just a preference on that. Like, I think we could all say that like Donkey and Kitty were objectively inferior.
Yeah.
To the other playable character, just because, I mean, they had their advantages, but it wasn't worth.
It just feels better to go faster, right? Because like that's kind of I think part of what Steve talks a little bit, you know, when he did his, because kind of focusing on the speed running aspect of it, or just that it feels good to go fast in the game. So you don't want to pick the slow characters.
Diddy and Dixie's abilities add more to the fluidity of the gameplay than Donkey Kong and Kitty.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how I feel.
I almost feel like Kitty and Donkey were a bit more like combat focused, because they're heavier and they can kill the bigger enemies more, but they're a lot slower, a bit more tanky. So like, yeah, it feels better to just go fast.
Their abilities are utilized, like at very specific instances, whereas the speed is overall all around a better way to play the game.
Everything I have cared about in my life has told me that I gotta go fast. So
yeah,
I gotta go fast. Gotta go Diddy. Gotta go Diddy.
You know what though? Related to that, and this is one of the things I was thinking of why I really love the series. You have those different abilities. Let's take 2 for example. Faster Diddy, Dixie can float, but you don't need a specific Kong to beat any level. Like, you can do it with either. And there's the different ways to go about it. Like, if there's certain things that Dixie can reach, but there's also things that Diddy does better. So, like, I like that the levels are designed that you can pick your favorite. It's not, like, forcing onto you, oh, for this level you want Diddy, or this level you want Dixie. They're open-ended in a way. And I feel like all 3 kind of did that, too. Where you could play with whichever Kong, and you can beat them with whichever Kong. You can just pick whichever one you like more. And I really like that about it too.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially you see that with Tropical Freeze, because now you have 3 buddies to help with, and so all 3 have different advantages, and you can just pick whichever one you prefer. I love that it gives you more options to play the levels with.
Yeah, you can really get a sense of them wanting to give you options. What with like when you get a DK barrel in Tropical Freeze, it spins around to like change which buddy you'll pick up, which is very nice of them to do that.
Yeah,
it's very cool. I would say like as far as my experience with 1, like I never felt like they really forced you to like go back to DK, but there are very few levels that it was like you're gonna have a rough time if you don't have DK for this part. The one level that comes to mind is I think I don't know if the level is called Life in the Mines or it's just the like track, but it's the one with the very small platforms that you have to like refill their like momentum with like the gas cans or whatever. Yeah. And then they drop the big enemies onto you, and it's like if you're just Diddy, like, and you try to jump on them, you're just gonna bounce off and fly off the stage. Yeah. Which is like that's the one thing I can think of where it was like you're gonna want Donkey Kong here. And it's like such
the very last level is with the little platforms that have arrows on them and they move in whatever direction the arrow's pointing. And that one in particular, there's a lot of the really big guys that Diddy just bounces off of.
Yes. I would say my favorite aspect of playing those games is just how tight the controls are. And one thing that's so great is like once you learn that you can roll off of the side of platforms and jump midair, it adds like this. It's kind of like the meta of Donkey Kong Country. It's like
it's the wave dashing.
It's great.
The wave dashing.
Yeah, dude, it's great. It's great because, for one, it's like the meta game, and that's what gets you that speed. And on the other hand, like, one of the big problems with those games is because of the graphical style. It's hard to tell when platforms are going to be ending, where the hitbox ends. And I never have a problem with it because I just roll jump off of every platform. So like, it's just an easy like mitigation of that problem where you can just keep rolling off of every platform and you never have to deal with like wondering where the hitbox is because you're always going to have a jump.
It's kind of like a higher skilled move, you know. It's for like once you've learned the game a little bit more, for the higher skill players, and yeah, there's obvious benefits for it.
Yeah, it's cool, dude. That's like, man, like just that mechanic puts Donkey Kong like over Mario for me. It's such a like something that a lot of people don't know about because they don't really teach it to you very well. They teach it to you sort of in Returns, where like in the first level, if you want to get all the Kong letters, there's one in a gap between two platforms, and so like I didn't know you could do that roll jump mechanic, and so I struggled so hard like trying to like float over it with Diddy like using the jetpack. I was like, there's no way I can get this. And then I finally figured it out by accident. I was like, oh, time to go like play all the old games again and just break it because it's so it's so good. It's so
I think that it almost makes you feel like you're better than the game. You're breaking the game a little bit. Like you feel all powerful.
Yeah, it is super empowering. Because like I know there's go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was thinking just my favorite part, I think, because there's the obvious stuff. Well, first of all, just with the controls we were talking about, that tells you how important that is in a game to feel good. Because everything else about a game can be great, but if your game doesn't feel good, it's still not going to be a good game, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But for me, the best part and most gripping part for me was all the secrets. And obviously that was the whole video we did last year, the Good Game Design, was about all the secrets, the bonus barrels and the bonus stuff. So kind of what Steve said, I don't want to just like mimic everything I said in there, but basically I love that it's bonus content that matters because it gives you extra levels to play. It gives you more game, which is just genius, and it feels good to like complete it. And like, I got this. I found the secrets. The secrets are fun in themselves. And then, hey, here's your reward. More awesome stuff.
Yeah, and they really amped it up in the last two games. What with when you get those Kong letters, you unlock more levels to play, and it's like,
right,
man. Once I finished Returns and went back to do all those temple levels, that just kicked my ass. Those levels were so hard. And then when I beat them and like unlocked that final level in the Golden Temple, it's like, what the fuck? This is like an acid trip. What is going on?
Such a hard level too.
Yeah.
I love that the new games gave the Kong letters much more value. Like, in the original trilogy, it just gives you extra lives. Who cares? I don't want Kong letters. Now, in the new ones, it's like they're like the most important things. They're even better than puzzle pieces. They make you think the puzzle pieces are important, but the Kong letters, man. If you get those Kong letters, you get the temple worlds. That's good stuff.
It's just more game, more fun.
Yeah, dude.
And that's what, like, I think a lot of games have kind of given up on is, like, once you go for 100% completion, like, what do you get out of it? Like, it's cool to get, like, concept art unlocked and stuff like that, but, like, more game, like, it doesn't have to be a lot, just anything that's fun, and just a sliver of it is, like, what would keep me going.
Just like a bonus level, right?
Like a, yeah.
Just, like, another thing.
Yeah, it's just more game, more fun. It's cool.
Well, yeah, a lot of the games that just have collectibles just for collectibles' sake, and it's like, that's fine, but like, that's so much better to me. Just like, give me like the reason I'm playing this game is because I love it. I love playing the game. So reward me for finding all your secrets by giving me more game to play. That's great. Like, that's the perfect reward. So I just love the rewards.
So, like, what do you guys think about the future of Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely wanted to end here. I wanted to end by saying, and this can be probably a pretty good discussion of what do you want to see the Donkey Kong Country franchise do in the future? What's something maybe it would go back to that it used to do? Something brand new you'd like to see? What would it be?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Lee.
Okay, I totally understand and respect why Retro Studios decided to make their own villains for the series, but I mean, like, the obvious, I want K. Rool back.
Yeah, dude, that's all I want. That's all I want. I just want the Kremlins back so bad.
That's probably top of all of our
I thought they
lists.
might do, before they'd announced that Cranky was going to be like the other party member, I guess, in Tropical Freeze, I thought it was going to be K. Rool.
Dude, you're right. I think there were rumors about that. And it would be so... I think I heard a rumor that was like the fourth playable character was like going to be K. Rool in like a onesie Donkey Kong suit to like disguise him. How cool
Holy
would that
crap.
be?
Okay, first of all, that would actually work because it's canonical that Donkey Kong is so fucking stupid.
It makes so much sense.
Like, in Donkey Kong Country, like, they try to hypnotize him. He's just like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Gosh.
Like
that would have been hilarious.
Can you just imagine you're like playing Returns and you beat the game and you unlock K. Rool as like this secret character and it's like an alternate cutscene and it's like they're trying to hypnotize DK and it works. This time it's like an alternate storyline, and then you just have K. Rool jump in and like steal a stage. He's like, "Listen, DK, I know we've had our differences, but like, I got your back." Or just like, it's jumping like in like nobody even knows. Nobody
like
even notices.
No,
I
think it's like in. I think it's like it should be like one of those anime things where it's like no one gets to kill you but me.
Yes. Oh my god, that's great. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. That's all I want. Like, when Tropical Freeze was coming out, and as I was playing the game, part of me was really holding on to the idea that K. Rool would come in and steal the stage at the end, because the whole game they're really building up the final boss, and they have him in like silhouette the whole game, so your vision's obscure, you don't really know who it is. And so it's like, oh my god, dude, if they make K. Rool the final boss of this game, like, I'm gonna lose my mind. And then they didn't, and like that's why I like maybe why I kind of irrationally hate the final boss of that game, because like they build that shit up and then it's just revealed to be like in retrospect
a walrus.
In retrospect, I think it's a cool design and cool for a villain and very menacing, but it was just like, man, like, you played me so hard. Why would you do that to me?
Now that you mentioned that, I agree, because like I didn't think that playing it, but now that you like, that would have been awesome if they revealed that.
Yeah. So that's my hope. Like, I do think we're gonna get a cap to the modern trilogy soon. I think Retro is definitely working on that, or has it in the works if they're not working on anything else. And so I just feel like it would be great to have the Kremlings return throughout the whole game, or just come in at the last minute and be like, this ain't over yet. We got you. The big reveal.
I think Retro's probably working on a new IP right now. That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
But I think we will definitely get another Donkey Kong game at this point, right?
Yeah, dude, they sell well too. So
I think so, and it'd be sick to just have like a modern trilogy, like you said, like replicate kind of what the first trilogy, and now we have a new set of trilogies, and that would be a good way to top it. Here's an idea, and I fully credit this to Jolly Goat. Perry was telling me in the stream the other night. This is Jolly's idea of how to bring K. Rool back. We were talking earlier about how K. Rool took on different, personas. So what if in the new game, let's say this Retro Studios DKC3, K. Rool comes back, but it's Western themed. So you get like cowboy, like bandit K. Rool, and the whole game's kind of Western themed. And he said you could bring back like give Kremlings guns, give them like little pop gun peanut shooters or something. And, like, everything's a bit more Western, lassos and train. Like he was describing like train ride, like the game's based around trains, and like you go from island to island on this train or something. I just thought that would be so amazing.
Yeah,
like
dude.
That'd be sick. We haven't seen Donkey Kong do like a Western theme, and that'd just be perfect. K. Rool the bandit. I would love it.
It would be like so far out of left field. Like they've done so much already, and like it like I don't know. I feel like in Tropical Freeze, like they had the icy theme or whatever, but like it was scaled back much compared to like the original trilogy and how crazy it got. And so that would be a great cap. Like that would blow people's minds if it was just Western themed, like for Donkey Kong, like who started out in a jungle. Like that's so weird.
Yeah, and it's just something we haven't seen before. That's something we haven't seen the games go to yet. Is like a Western something.
So you're saying Western, but my latest obsession has been Hyper Light Drifter because it just came out. I'm thinking, what if Donkey Kong Country, like the new one 3, had a fucking like cyberpunk?
I'm just thinking like of Donkey Kong in like a Tron, like in Kingdom Hearts when you go to the Tron world and like they all get their like get-ups. Like imagine
absolutely.
Donkey Kong in that. What? Dude, that'd be so weird.
Oh man, the new Donkey Kong, like he gets sucked into a computer and the whole game's like
Oh dude, that would be ridiculous.
What if it was literally just the plot of Tron, just but with Donkey Kong?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd buy
like
it. Dude.
we were saying about Rare, like if they're trying to replicate kind of a Rare attitude, like anything is possible, anything's on the table. So I'm all for it.
Final boss on the train. Like I don't know how it would work, but that would be like the perfect cap off. Like imagine the final world is on the train, and so you're just slowly working your way up the train each level. Like maybe one level you start like at the caboose and you're like in like the passenger cabins or whatever, and one level you're like below the train, like doing your like your ceiling like climb across like all the underbelly of the plane or not the plane, the underbelly of the train. And then cap it off, final boss at the top of the train. And then you just like, this is very dark, but you just like kick the final boss off the top of the train and he just gets run over, and then he just gets run over by the train, his guts explode. We're going there. We're going rated M on Donkey Kong.
That sounds like something Nintendo would do.
Yeah, of course.
Just a Donkey Kong fucking murderer guy.
Yeah. Dude,
that
would be great.
That's top of my list is getting K. Rool back, the Kremlings back. But
I thought you were. It's top of my list. Donkey Kong's gonna fucking murder a guy.
Just train running over. That's all I want. A couple other just smaller things, but I do think would enhance greatly. We need more animal buddies. All we've had is Rambi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
did they not
it has
add
squawks,
anything to
but
Tropical?
like not like in gameplay.
It's not the same.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And so in Tropical Freeze, there was an entire underwater world, right? World 4 was all underwater. No one guard.
There's no one guard.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
dude.
give us on guard. I'm saying bring several back. Like we need the 4 or 5 that are in the other games. Bring Squitter. Bring, Rattly, bring Espresso, like all the ones. I would love it. I would love to just have a good gang of animal buddies again.
On Guard needs to be in it because
absolutely
they've shown that they can do water levels in Tropical Freeze. Like,
right,
make water levels actually fun for once.
Yeah,
and on my wish list, I would have Rattly for sure. Rattly's a snake, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I would have Rattly, and then just with that, you could have like so much more vertical level design. Like instead of just going from left to right, just go from bottom to top. Climb a giant tree with Rattly. Just go nuts.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, actually.
Well, like 1 to 2 went.
Should make
to
a
where
video on this.
Never getting video ideas. 1 to 2, you know, they made it so that you can transform into the animal buddies. Like, you know, they could do that again too.
Yeah,
or
they
just
had the barrels, yeah.
Yeah, like they could do lots of stuff with it. We just need more of them. Rambi is not enough, and he only shows up like a couple times anyway. You know, in both Returns and Tropical Freeze, we need lots of animal buddies, and I think that could give a lot of, you know, new level ideas.
Yeah,
even new
solid.
animal buddies. Come up with new ones. I don't care. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what they could do off the top of my head, but like, hey, I'm always open to new animal buddies.
Even Squawks, bring Squawks like into the game. Fly around with Squawks again. He's not my favorite, but I don't care. Give me more.
Something.
Like,
give me something.
You don't like Squawks like throwing up oatmeal cookies all over the place?
Yeah, what even is that? I think we need to like identify what exactly he's throwing up.
I always thought they were coconuts.
Oatmeal cookies.
Oatmeal cookies.
I'm being completely serious. They look like oatmeal cookies.
Where'd he get the oatmeal
Whole,
cookies?
unchewed.
Let's dive into this Donkey Kong lore.
Yeah, this
need
is the
to know
DK.
this.
Donkey Kong lore is important. Like,
It's much more important than Mario lore. I'm gonna just be honest there.
what Mario lore?
Yeah, right.
Oh man, you don't want to know. You don't want to know the pits of hell I can dive into. Shout out to Tanuki Tales. Oh,
It is literally my job to understand the lore of these things.
That's true.
Mario
That's
lore?
true.
yeah. It's not important.
Third final tiny thing that I would like to see is more variety of bonus games.
Yeah.
Because the new retro games, the bonus games are probably like the weakest link in my opinion. Because they're just all the same banana collect rooms over and over again.
I wouldn't have thought of that because honestly, they're pretty forgettable.
Right, exactly. Because they're so forgettable. Give us the collect the stars, you know. Give us some
minecart bonus levels.
Yeah, like there's a lot of more creative ways they could go about it than what they did.
Yeah.
So, but it's minor. Like that's not like a game changer for me. But I would love to see more variety, different types of bonus games.
Yeah, they do a really good job in the modern games with like outlining where secrets should be. Like it's like there's a nice charm to like finding something completely by accident that like you could only find by accident, which is like a lot of what specifically 1 does. But shout outs to Bro Franco, you know, just interrupting the podcast. But yeah, so you know, bonus levels. Yeah,
dude.
I kind of lost my train of thought there, but you know, it's fine. I don't know if that will even pick up on my recording, but whatever.
We just need retro to make the perfect Donkey Kong game. That's all we're asking. Just make the.
It's not that big. Like it's super easy. Just do it, guys. Come on.
Gosh, come on. I do think Kremling's coming back would just make it the best. It would just be the best.
Yeah, it'd just be. I mean, they've done so much so well with these new games. Like
they
honestly,
really have. You gotta
I
give
think
them
they're
credit.
so solid that like you can only expand. Like there's not a lot of refinement that needs to happen. You just need maybe with the controls a bit, but just expand, bring new ideas to the table.
They can get more crazy for sure.
It feels like the direction that it's taken feels a little bit safer than like what I'd like, but it's good. So like I want to strike that balance of like really wild and still really good.
Yeah. It's just like the perfect cap at the end. Any final thoughts, my friends, on Donkey Kong before we wrap things up?
Donkey Kong 64 is all right. I mean, it was like my favorite game of all time for a long time.
No, we're done. That's perfect. We're done. No.
It was all right.
So,
we did really
just
mention
cut it
much.
off right there.
It's all right.
But yeah. Yeah, this game's it's good, but you know, I mean, I remember the first episode of my podcast, I was like, Donkey Kong 64 is my favorite game of all time. But honestly now, like...
it's just okay.
2 steals it, man. 2 stole the spotlight.
Yeah.
As for other Donkey Kong games, like I want to play Jungle Beat, but I haven't gotten around to that. Whatever
I haven't
else
either.
is just
I haven't
weird.
played the spin-offs.
Yeah, I've got those bongos ready to go. I just haven't tried it yet.
You have the bongos, but you haven't played.
I have the game and the bongos. I just haven't played it yet, which is really sad because like I got
What's
that.
stopping
Like, I don't know, dude. I just like playing twos. I just play two all the time.
Yeah. It's a come back to one, dude, for real. I can always come back to it.
Yeah, but those are my thoughts on the best franchise in the history of gaming, obviously.
Oh, we didn't talk about Mass Effect.
Yeah, but screw Mass Effect. No, I'm just kidding. I'm already regretting saying that around you. I've never played Mass Effect, so
just stay tuned for Mass Effect May coming next month.
There you go.
I'm actually taking over this podcast.
Yeah.
It's mine now. We're just exclusively going to talk about the single-player RPGs that I like and no one else does.
Yeah, well, let's
First,
begin. Okay, let's start talking about Mass Effect now. Part 2 of the podcast. Let's begin.
What do you want to talk about? I got plenty of material.
Gosh.
Let's save it for May,
I just
boys.
happened to bring 10 pages of notes with me. I have
just in case.
Thank you both for being on. It was like therapeutic, right? To just kind of like talk, man. Like, DK's the best.
Yeah. Sorry, nerds. DK's the best.
I just love that. Like, yeah. Like we agree.
Yeah. Sorry, Mario fans. How does it feel being the third best? Even Sonic's better than you.
Oh no!
Oh dang! That is shots fired.
Oh no! That is not okay.
I don't actually believe that.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Right. Well, all right. We need to get out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Lee and Steve,
for having
being
us on. Yeah.
Dude, man, this was really fun. I got way more into this than I initially thought I would. So this was an amazing cast. IMO.
Yeah, this has been great.
Dude, you're both welcome back anytime. Don't be strangers.
Mass Effect May, here we come.
Mass Effect May. We'll see you guys in Mass
I am
Effect
completely serious. If you want to do that, I will do it.
I've never played Mass Effect. I'm just gonna.
I just love it. This is
there we
still
go.
going
It'll be
on. It's Mass Effect.
It'll be fine. It'll be just an hour of me talking. Just what do you want to know? Just ask me questions, and I'll be like, all right, well.
All right, stay tuned, everybody. We'll just have a leave vlog on Mass Effect and why it's the best ever. Thank you all for listening. As always, I appreciate it greatly. Just hanging out with us, talking Donkey Kong. One more video coming the rest of this month. Get hyped for it. I've teased on Twitter. It's the first ever bad game design. Holy moly! So
controversy.
That's coming. I love, you both. Thank you for that, like, perfectly timed gasp. So get hyped. It's coming next week. Get excited. One last thank you to my guests, and we'll see you guys next time. Everybody, say goodbye. See ya. Bye-bye.
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 Donkey Kong's the best. Suck it.